Tonight, U.S. forces attack an Iranian cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz just days before a ceasefire is set to expire.
Vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room.
Fears that war could ramp up again as Tehran vows swift retaliation. Plus, a horrific mass shooting in Louisiana leaves 8 children dead.
I think about the mother and what this family has lost. I think about this community and what this community has lost.
What we're learning about the crime and the victims. And a week after their historic mission, reflections on the emotional journey in space and on Earth.
Waiting for that 6 minutes was excruciating. I didn't realize I was crying audibly until people were looking at me and bringing me Kleenex.
My exclusive interview with Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen and his wife, Catherine.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hansen.
Oil prices are again surging as optimism for a deal to end the war with Iran and reopen the critical Strait of Hormuz unravels. Both Iran and now the United States taking aim at ships. Donald Trump says the U.S. military disabled and boarded an Iranian-flagged vessel after it tried to run through Washington's blockade. Multiple ships in the Persian Gulf were attacked yesterday as Iran tightened its own blockade. And now the Islamic Republic says it will retaliate against what it calls the U.S. military's maritime armed robbery. Katie Simpson shows us how hopes for peace are plummeting as shots are fired at sea.
The U.S. Navy using force to seize a vessel it says tried to evade the blockade of Iranian ports. Claiming this ship, the Tuska, ignored repeated warnings to turn around or else.
Vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
American forces followed through on the threat, saying these shots blew a hole through the engine room. Soon after, the U.S. boarded and took control.
It ought to be a lesson to not just to Iran, but to any other ship owners or insurance companies that think they can run a U.S. Navy blockade. If anybody escalated here, it was the government of Iran to challenge the blockade.
Iran says the U.S. has violated the ceasefire agreement, warning the regime will retaliate. The U.S. had previously accused Iran of violating the deal for again closing the Strait of Hormuz and firing shots at 2 separate ships over the weekend.
They got a little cute, as they have been doing for 47 years. Nobody ever took them on. We took them on.
Amid these tensions, Donald Trump announced he's sending a delegation to Pakistan for more peace talks. The American team expected to be led by Vice President J.D. Vance.
The outcome of these talks will be incredibly consequential, and as the president has stated, he is prepared to escalate, to de-escalate.
Trump again threatened Iran to meet U.S. demands, writing on social media, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
The president's looking for maximum leverage, maximum leverage in these negotiations.
Members of Trump's cabinet denied the destruction of civilian infrastructure amounts to war crimes.
Bridges, power plants that are run by the IRGC, which runs the entire military, are absolute legitimate military targets.
Security has been ramped up in Islamabad, where future peace talks are to be held. But at this point, Iran is yet to confirm it will attend. Iranian state TV reported Iran would not send a delegation because of the U.S. blockade and what it called unrealistic demands made by the Americans. But there's still time for that decision to change.
And Katie, this all comes as the ceasefire expires on Wednesday.
Yeah, Trump has said he would be open to extending the deadline, but he didn't think it would be necessary because he expected a deal. Trump's messaging has been erratic throughout the course of this entire war.
Katie Simpson in Washington. Investigators in Shreveport, Louisiana are working 3 crime scenes tonight after a man shot and killed 8 children ranging in age from just 3 to 11 years old. Mike Crawley has more on this tragedy, including what we know about the motive.
A shocking crime shattering the Sunday morning quiet in this Louisiana city. A gunman on a rampage at 3 homes in this neighborhood in a matter of minutes, killing 8 children at one house.
7 children were located inside that were deceased. There was an additional deceased child that looked like he had tried to escape the residence out the back on the roof.
Police say the gunman was related to all but one of the children he killed.
When you deal with kids, it is different. You know, we expect to see a certain amount of violence when you enter this job, but you don't expect it to be delivered upon a child.
2 women were also shot and wounded, one with life-threatening injuries. Police believe the gunman had been in a relationship with one of them. A family member of one of the victims told the Associated Press that the gunman and his wife were separating and were due in court on Monday.
I think about the mother and what this family has lost. I think about this community and what this community has lost. And I don't have the words to give you, and I'm sorry.
Police say the killer carjacked a vehicle and led officers on a chase that ended with a shootout and the gunman dead. Shreveport's member of Congress is House Speaker Mike Johnson. On social media, he called what happened a senseless tragedy and said, God be with the community through this terrible time.
I think there are people trying to organize a prayer vigil, trying to find out where these children attended school so that they could have counseling at their schools at the loss of their classmates. So it is a major deal.
The murder rate here in the U.S. has dropped sharply the past few years, and last year hit its lowest in a century. But by contrast, domestic violence is on the rise. According to the FBI, domestic violence now accounts for 20% of all murders nationwide. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Washington.
Mark Carney is renewing his Canada Strong push tonight as tensions with Washington climb. In a recording released on YouTube, the Prime Minister vowed to diversify trade and safeguard the country's economy. JP Tasker breaks down his message.
Canada-U.S. trade tensions are heating up again with the CUSMA review deadline fast approaching. Prime Minister Mark Carney now warning the country should prepare for some turbulence ahead.
Many of our former strengths, based on our close ties to America, have become our weaknesses that we must correct.
In a new government-produced video, Carney is renewing his commitment to urgently diversify trade away from the states amid mounting political turmoil south of the border.
We can't bet our future on the hope that it will suddenly stop.
Carney is also relaying for the first time that he draws inspiration from a War of 1812 hero who died defending what is now Canada during that American invasion.
This statue of General Brock that I see every morning in the Prime Minister's office reminds me that when we're united as Canadians, we can withstand anything.
We wouldn't have a country without Brock.
This historian says invoking a figure like Sir Isaac Brock is steeped in symbolism, a reminder that the country has beat the Americans before, despite long odds.
Canada can triumph, the Canada can succeed, but above all else, the Canada is worth fighting for.
Carney's national address comes as the Trump administration ramps up the rhetoric against Canada.
They suck. Look, we are a $30 trillion economy, right? We are the consumer of the world, okay? Carney has a problem with us.
While the U.S. and Mexico have held a series of meetings, there have been no formal talks with Canada in recent months about renewing the trilateral agreement.
We need a tariff-free deal. We need to get these obstacles out of the way.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, meanwhile, is urging Carney to patch things up with the Trump administration, saying the country's economic future depends on it.
He's wrong to suggest that we can have a permanent rupture with our biggest customer.
While taking inspiration from a wartime general who battled the Americans, the Prime Minister is still trying to bring about peace on the trade front. His point person on Canada-U.S. relations, Minister Dominic LeBlanc, says bilateral conversations are happening behind the scenes, telling MPs late last week it's been a challenge to come to an agreement.
And break down why this has been a challenge. What are the sticking points?
Well, the Trump administration is committed to those punishing tariffs on steel, autos, and lumber. Canada, in turn, is digging in on supply management, protecting the cultural sector, and that boycott on U.S. beer, wine, and spirits. American officials say finishing the CUSMA review by July 1st is increasingly unlikely. Ian?
JP Tasker in Ottawa tonight. More than a dozen Ontario communities are under a state of emergency tonight at risk from the rushing waters of an abnormally high spring runoff. Flood warnings are in effect from the Toronto area, north to Sudbury and beyond. The biggest threats officially declared on Manitoulin Island and in the heart of the province. Sheehan Desjardins shows us what they're up against.
He's laying down sandbags to protect his home from floodwaters in case things get worse.
I'm hoping like if it rises, it doesn't rise above road level here.
In other areas, it's too late. Kiara Sexton's ride home looks different these days. The water too high for her car and little girls.
We've been parking over here, and my very kind neighbor Michael has been ferrying us with a rowboat. Lovely. It's a bit of an adventure.
Minden Hills is one of the hardest hit areas in Ontario. An evacuation center is open. All hands are on deck to help.
We just dug in, and people have been coming and going. The trucks have been coming, and everybody's been working well together.
Thousands of sandbags.
I can't take your job.
All of these filled entirely by hand.
Yeah, it is a lot. We're exhausted. A lot of us have been here for 6 days.
Water levels did drop earlier, but the mayor worries about what's to come.
It's generally coming from the upper lakes. All of those lakes are filled to capacity or overcapacity.
It's a similar story further north, where more roads are flooding.
At this point, it's about damage mitigation. It's about keeping our residents safe. And really having good plans in place.
And in Sudbury, one resident says she had to canoe to reach her trailer submerged in water.
I told my husband that if we don't go, I'm afraid that we're going to lose certain items, like our deck. I've been in that spot since 2014, and I can tell you that I've never seen this amount of water.
West of Sudbury on Manitoulin Island, a local hospital closed midweek and may not reopen for days. Environment Canada says it doesn't expect significant rain here in southern Ontario over the next few days. A bit of good news as people prepare and wait to see what happens next. Sheehan Desjardins, CBC News, Minden Hills.
Parts of Quebec also under fear of flooding tonight.
The situation could evolve very quickly, and it is important for people to stay aware.
4 regions are under flood watch, including around Quebec City. The Premier said the province is in contact with mayors in the affected areas and is ready to step in if help is suddenly needed. After intense backlash, Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the province is now looking to sell the private jet it recently purchased for his travels around Ontario and the U.S. In a statement Sunday, Ford said, quote, "I've heard and agree now is not the right time." On Friday, the province has confirmed the acquisition of a pre-owned Bombardier Challenger jet at a cost of $28.9 million. Critics had nicknamed it the gravy plane. Nearly a year after a car ramming attack killed 11 people at a Vancouver street festival, British Columbians gathered for a day of reflection and remembrance. But as Caroline Bargut tells us, the day revealed deep divisions about the attack within the Filipino community.
The music was somber, the speeches subdued, and there's a flower wall to remember the victims. Lapu-Lapu Day looks a lot different this year. What once was a street festival with thousands of revelers is now a gathering in a closed-off area with a lot of police and not many participants.
We recognize that not everybody wants to be here today, and that's okay, right? They don't have to participate, but we thought it was equally important that, we came together for those who needed this today.
About a year ago, Adam Kaiji Low allegedly drove a car into a crowd, killing nearly a dozen people. He's charged with 11 counts of second-degree murder and 31 counts of attempted murder. Security has been beefed up, and there's been debate about whether or not to hold another Lapu-Lapu Day event.
This is my partner, AJ Seco.
Family members of those affected protested outside, demanding to know where $450,000 in donations to Filipino BC, the organizers of the event, ended up.
We are here not to create division, but we are here asking for solution, asking for the transparency and accountability of the donations.
For us, the victim, we're still the victim right now.
Josie Seco's niece was killed at the Lapu-Lapu Day event last year. Her son was hurt badly. She wants to know why money raised in the name of victims and their families has not flowed to them.
We didn't get help for the whole time. up to now.
Filipino BC says the money went to programs and services for victims and their families, and that financial assistance is still available for those who need it.
I actually witnessed someone get run over, and it was...
Kegavat was at last year's event. It was important for her to return, to be around other people also affected by the tragedy.
It's really hard to heal from, but I think eventually coming together and grieving and talking about it would give some people comfort.
In the lead up to the event, a number of headliners canceled their performances, another sign of how deeply this tragedy has divided the Filipino community here. Caroline Bargut, CBC News, Vancouver.
Scientists are sounding the alarm over one of the world's most popular fertilizers. Urea, a nitrogen-based product, helps grow most of Canada's food. But a new study shows it threatens to degrade nearly half the fresh water on the prairies. Alexander Silberman examines the risks and the potential solutions.
Farmer Ian McCreary calls it a difficult balancing act. The fertilizer going into his fields, vital to grow food and make a living, but if not carefully contained, risky for the environment.
Nitrogen fertilizer is incredibly important, and it's quite potentially dangerous, so it needs to be managed.
Urea, a fertilizer that helps feed most of the world, is now a source of concern. The product is threatening to degrade nearly half of fresh water sources on the prairies, according to a new study by researchers in Saskatchewan and Manitoba.
From an environmental perspective, absolutely there's a problem. We need to be really clear that this stuff cannot get into the water.
The research team added the fertilizer to farm ponds. They found increased algae growth, rapid oxygen loss, water turning green and thicker. The effects, destroying the ecosystem and killing fish.
Just a warning sign. The red flag is up now. We should pay attention to this.
The study warns the threat to water quality is likely a global issue, with agricultural regions in the U.S. and China identified at risk. But scientists say telling people not to use the fertilizer at all is not a viable solution.
Playing the balance of the need to grow food and the need to maintain water is a really big challenge that is global, and people are going to have to reconcile with that.
The goal for now, keep fertilizer in the fields and out of the water, using natural buffers like these trees as a way to stop runoff.
It's really urgent. It's urgent for a lot of reasons.
McCreary mapped his soil to see where fertilizer is not needed, trying to reduce what he puts in the ground.
And this recent study said fresh water is another reason why it's really urgent to make it happen.
McCreary says government support is needed to encourage farmers to adapt. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Bladworth, Saskatchewan.
A BC couple is going public tonight about their fight with the car rental company Enterprise.
I was a little anxious and, blood pressure went up a bit.
Why they got a bill for nearly $10,000 in damages. Next. Plus, driverless taxis could soon be coming to Canada.
This experience may feel futuristic, but the need to buckle up is the same as always.
Is the technology up to speed? And a skydiving mishap sidelines a football game.
We were just there to watch the game and have fun. It turned into a lot of suspense.
More on the rescue. We're back in 2.
Down low, Slavkovsky scores! It's a hat trick! Overtime! Winner!
A solid start to the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Montreal Canadiens. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in overtime to grab Game 1 of their best-of-7 series. It was the first playoff game in Tampa for Montreal coach Martin St. Louis since his number was retired by the Lightning after an illustrious 13 seasons as a player there. And the Habs aren't the only Canadian team in the playoffs. The Ottawa Senators lost their Game 1 match Saturday night to the Carolina Hurricanes. And in Edmonton, the Oilers hope to make it to the Stanley Cup final for the 3rd year in a row. They kick off their first-round series against the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow night. A BC couple is going public tonight after the car rental giant Enterprise billed them thousands of dollars for a destroyed engine. Enterprise claimed the couple damaged the car they rented by filling up with diesel instead of gas. Erica Johnson on their months-long fight to get that claim dropped.
It's crazy.
Kelly and Catherine Graves have turned their dining room into a war room, fighting the car rental giant Enterprise after renting a vehicle last year in Edmonton. A week after returning the car to National Car Rental, owned by Enterprise, they got an email blaming them for the damage.
There was diesel put in the gas tank.
And they were on the hook.
I was a little anxious and, blood pressure went up a bit.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stress.
The couple provided receipts showing they put regular gasoline in the tank before returning the car to the Edmonton airport. A photo of the gas pump shows it only dispenses gasoline, no diesel. On top of that, the rental car had what's called a capless fuel system like this. Designed for gasoline only, a wider diesel nozzle won't fit. With all that evidence, they thought the claim had gone away. But 9 months later, they get a letter saying the engine repair cost $9,500 and they are responsible for the damages.
You work all your life to gain a savings so that you can retire and enjoy your life. And then somebody comes along and says, we're going to take $10,000 away from you.
This mechanic says if the Graves had filled the tank with diesel, the car wouldn't have made the 50-kilometer drive to the airport.
What would be happening to the car?
Smoke, poor performance of the vehicle, misfiring, flashing check engine light. I don't even think it would have made it more than a few kilometers, if that.
The Graves hired a lawyer who said Enterprise had to have proof the couple caused the diesel damage.
They can't just issue an invoice and expect payment without any evidence.
Enterprise declined an interview, but after Go Public sent questions, the company sent a statement saying, due to the time that has elapsed since the incident, it was unable to verify the fueling source. So it's dropping the claim. Long-awaited relief for the Graves, who hope other drivers won't have to face the same ordeal. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Our Go Public stories come from you. If you have a tip for the team to investigate, send an email to gopublic@cbc.ca. Some Canadians could soon see driverless taxis on their streets.
It's a bit of a culture shock, and that acceptance is not going to come overnight.
The political and technological roadblocks ahead. And after the historic mission around the moon,
Jeremy, absolutely welcome home, brother.
I sit down with Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen and his wife Catherine with some never-before-shared details.
I found that to be the most terrifying day of my life.
It's so hard on everyone on Earth, but it's not like that for the astronauts.
That exclusive interview is next. Driverless taxis could be coming to Canada. Waymo, a California tech company, is eyeing Toronto as its next market with plans to apply to an Ontario pilot program. Nisha Patel explains what that could look like and why some people are skeptical.
Decked out with cameras and radars, this isn't just any taxi. It's a Waymo autonomous vehicle, and it operates entirely without a human driver.
This experience may feel futuristic, but the need to buckle up is the same as always.
Waymo is owned by Google parent company Alphabet.
It's like an Uber, but there's no driver.
It's available in almost a dozen cities in the U.S. and is testing internationally in London and Tokyo. Canada could be next. Waymo has been lobbying government officials in Ontario and British Columbia, and the City of Toronto confirms Waymo plans to apply to the province's pilot program for driverless vehicles.
Certainly, getting into a vehicle with no driver where the steering wheel turns itself, it's a bit of a culture shock, and that acceptance is not going to come overnight.
Experts say there is data that shows driverless cars get into fewer accidents compared to humans.
They don't drink and drive. They don't road rage. They don't read their smartphones while they're at the wheel scrolling through their feeds.
But there have been some incidents where Waymo's made headlines.
The vehicle's just stalled at intersections right in the middle,
causing traffic jams during power outages and turning into lanes they're not supposed to.
Concerned they were about to be in a head-on collision, they pulled around the Waymo.
You have a system that can handle most of the situations, most of the driving, but now and then it will get stuck.
And since Waymo has mostly been operating in warm weather cities, driving in Toronto could be a challenge.
I believe winter is a big problem. You have, let's say, snowfall, so you don't see things properly. You have slippery roads.
It's not yet clear when Waymo could hit the streets of Toronto.
I'm just scared that there's going to be a technical issue.
I'd get a driverless taxi. I'd be fine with that. I think the technology's there.
It's like no human involved. I don't trust it.
Experts say it could be years before driverless taxis become widespread, so the road to mainstream adoption may be a long one. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Tonight, in a CBC News exclusive, I sit down with Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen and his wife, Catherine.
Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
It's more than a week since the Artemis II crew splashed down off the coast of California after a historic 10-day lunar flyby.
As we got down around 100,000 feet, the capsule sort of nosed over, if you will.
From the key moments of the mission to the immense relief on a high-risk re-entry.
Waiting for that 6 minutes was excruciating.
Jubilation here in the flight control room. The first crew member is out of integrity.
Let's go back to launch day.
And OTC, NTD on 212 for ComCheck.
And that moment when the launch director said, I don't know if she actually said all systems go, but basically that was her message.
Verify no constraints and go for launch.
So I was sitting there watching the rocket, watching the capsule a few kilometers away, and then I heard your voice.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
I found that a really moving moment, but I'm curious for you at that moment, how were you feeling?
A guarded enthusiasm, probably. Everything felt positive. I was excited to go. I was well rested. Everything felt good. It was more serene than I thought it was going to be. And I think it's not bravado or courage, or it's not that. It's more about just preparation and acceptance of I'm along for the ride on this thing for the next 8 minutes once it goes, and just being at peace with that.
If that moment was moving for me, I can't imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah, we were standing on the roof and the rocket was front and center. And when we heard them say, the crew, we're going for our families, we're going for our teams, we're going for all humanity, that's when the tears started, because I think that's when we as a group acknowledged it was actually going to happen. And of course, nobody knew at that point what this mission was going to mean for all humanity, but it carried with it a lot of meaning that Jeremy said those words.
Integrity, good roll pitch.
We reported the superlatives a lot, the furthest humans had been from Earth, the areas of the moon seen for the first time by human eyes. What was notable for you about what you saw or did on this mission?
There were a lot of moments. But if I just narrow down to the views that I saw at the windows, so many different perspectives. Like my first look at the Earth was basically the Pacific Ocean, and it was just beautiful and enormous. Like, it's enormous, but it's hard to fathom it until you really see it from like horizon to horizon, just how big it is. And that's not even all of it that you're seeing at that point early in the mission. And then next time I looked, I saw Australia. It was just so red and so beautiful. And then we were getting further away, and the next time I looked, I can kind of see all of the Earth. Then we saw the picture that's been shared a lot, where we saw the auroras in the North and the South Pole, and the whole Earth. And then we saw crescent Earth, and then we saw the dark side of the Earth. And it was just like, oh my gosh. So that's just like in the first day. Like we were already turning into kids in the spacecraft, seeing all this stuff. But also to see the three-dimensionality of the moon was really striking. See like the texture in the moon. You're not used to seeing it. In all the satellite images you study, that detail is there, but it's not the same as you can see it with your eyes when it's real out the window.
The best part of hearing that description, and you do a beautiful job of describing it, is watching your reaction. I mean, you're a physician, you're a scientist, you've seen and studied lots of things, but what do you think as you hear your husband talk about that?
Yeah, I have no desire to go to space, but it makes me want to see it that way. And I think that Jeremy and the crew did such a great job that I can almost close my eyes and see what they describe as a three-dimensionality of it. Like there's a globe floating in the blackness, and they're getting closer and closer to it. And in one of our private family conferences, he described to the kids this cliff this rock wall. He's like, it's like you could just go down and rock climb on it. So it gives us this feeling of things we've seen here on Earth, but they're out there. It's fun to see the enthusiasm and the boy come out.
Space travel is a risky business. When I interviewed you in September, I remember thinking to myself, I probably shouldn't talk about that, but you strode right in there in the interview and you talked about it. You made reference to loss of crew. It took me half a beat to kind of process what you had just said and how your family, you needed to feel comfortable that your family felt comfortable with the potential for loss of crew. How do you deal with that risk?
It's easier for me, but harder to put it on them. That's where the challenge is. For me, it just kind of feels like a bit of a selfish thing to put them in that situation where they have to worry. They have to watch a rocket leave with me on it. They have to know that I'm 400,000 kilometers away, and they have to watch a re-entry and a blackout in communication, and that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we had support, of course, people preparing us, lots of conversations, and we asked the tough questions of Jeremy and had the courageous conversations with our kids and our family. And you can never prepare for something like that, but there were many times in that 10-day experience, launch and landing, 2 of them, when it felt like we had to be prepared, and that was a possibility. And we're so grateful that we're sitting here now not having had to deal with that. But we were as ready as we could possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, this conversation we're just having now, I would only have it with you safely, back on the ground. And so I can ask you about maybe a moment that, looking back at it, is a little bit funny, which is your family watching the interview that I did with Jeremy when he talked about having to prepare.
Yeah. So you had asked him, and he said that he's talked about that with his wife and children, and then he stopped for a moment and he said, well, there's more work to do there. And we watched it together, and I said, there is more work to do there, because we dealt with certain things, but not as fully as we knew we needed to yet. And we had quite a laugh about it, so we still talk about it. And there was more work to do, so thanks to you, we did it.
Well, you might have helped me realize that. So.
In that moment.
Glad to help. Let's talk about, I don't know, is it the second riskiest part of the mission after launch, which is re-entry?
This will be the final major maneuver of the mission for Integrity, an 8-second burn of Integrity's thruster. Burn underway.
As you enter the atmosphere, as you deal with the G-forces, the fireball, what was that like?
That day is very interesting because you're on a timeline and you can't change it. And we had done everything that we'd planned to do, and it wasn't overly rushed. We'd done it and it went well and it went smoothly. So I entered that moment like in a tranquil manner. And I just was sort of resigned to enjoying the ride. I was anxious to feel like what the Gs, would really feel like for that long.
Let me just jump in. I mean, you're a fighter pilot, so you're used to Gs. How did this compare?
It's a different direction. So fighter pilot, when you're flying a fighter jet and you turn, the Gs come down from the head towards your toes. And in this case, they push you through your chest into the seat. And it's kind of comforting, like it's kind of tucking you into the seat.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But no, okay, yeah. That's one perspective.
I've never heard that before. It's comforting. It's like being tucked in. Yeah.
And like all of that is relatively smooth, but there's a lot of noises going on in the spacecraft. Like you hear the thrusters are very loud and they bang. They're very short pulses, but they're loud and they're sharp. And it twists, it rolls the capsule as it tries to steer towards the landing site. So there's a lot going on there. You hear the sound. There's a lot of noise as the plasma's forming around the capsule, and you hear it all. It's kind of a crazy thing. Like you're falling to Earth. We started at 39 times the speed of sound, and it's slowing us down with these G-forces. And then as we got down around 100,000 feet, the capsule sort of nosed over, if you will, and was just mostly falling straight down. and it just started to bobble. Like we were just kind of bobbling around in there. And that part I wasn't expecting. Didn't feel unstable, but it was like, that's interesting. What's it doing? And the thrusters were picking up their firings at that point. And then I was just watching the altitude come down. And then eventually the drogues came out, and that's pretty violent when they come out.
These are these huge parachutes that are meant to, the first sort of attempt to slow you guys down.
Yes, they take you, out of that transonic region to a point where they can open the big parachutes. That's pretty violent, and if you look at what the zero-G indicator was doing then, like it's going all over the place. And that's what it felt like in there. We were really bobbing around. But again, it's kind of comforting because you're like, I'm glad those things are out there doing that. They're working, and they're slowing us down.
Main chute deploy.
And then they release and you like fall again. And then the mains come out. And that's when like Christina and I fist bumped, because it was like, okay, now we're gonna be okay.
When we come back, Catherine Hansen's view of the re-entry scene around the world.
I found that to be the most terrifying day of my life.
And Jeremy Hansen on being back on Earth.
You saw a lot of emotion on that stage. Just what I was feeling.
We have crossed the threshold, now entering the Earth's atmosphere. Communications blackout. No voice, no data from the crew.
So I went into mission control, and I had Jenny Gibbons, a Canadian astronaut, with me, and my son, family around. And I found that to be the most terrifying day of my life. Absolutely, again, a moment when I did not expect that big ball of fire to make it to Earth safely. The loss of signal was so slow. Like waiting for that 6 minutes was excruciating. I didn't realize I was crying audibly until people were looking at me and bringing me Kleenex. But once we heard the reacquisition of signal, for me, when I heard Reed say that he copied Houston, I was extremely relieved.
Houston, integrity, we have you loud and clear.
And Jeremy's reminded me that the mains weren't out at that point, so maybe it wasn't a time to be relieved, but just to know that they were in one piece coming out of that plasma ball was, for me, the moment when I could finally relax.
I mean, your candor throughout this really has been, I've admired it so much. And I think it's interesting to hear what families go through. You know, it's good not to kind of overlook that, because that's got to be so difficult. Clearly was so difficult. Speaking of...
I just want to touch on that, Ian. I've watched a lot of friends launch to space and come back from space, and I get really nervous watching them come home. And again, it's so hard on everyone on Earth, but it's not like that for the astronauts.
It was like you were being tucked in.
Yeah, it's much better to be in the capsule than to be watching it, feeling like you have no control over it.
So that was Friday. Saturday, I look at my phone and I see the four of you are going to be on that stage at NASA speaking to the public. I thought, I didn't expect to see you for days. And then you come up with this like beautiful, perfect statement.
What you saw was a group of people who loved contributing, having meaningful contribution, and extracting joy out of that. And what we've been hearing is that was something special for you to witness. I would suggest to you that when you look up here, you're not looking at us. We are a mirror reflecting you. And if you like what you see, then just look a little deeper.
That one was just kind of an inspired moment for me. We were all really tired. I think some of the barriers were down for us. I mean, you saw a lot of emotion on that stage. And I definitely wasn't talking to just the people in that room or just NASA. I mean, we really felt as a crew that we weren't really doing anything that special up there. I mean, it's special, what happened was special, but not because we were special. And I know maybe you'll give me a hard time about trying to reflect this back, but we just were doing our job. I think that's what we were trained to do. We were really well supported. We were really well prepared. We just did what we loved to do and had been dreaming of doing. It wasn't anything extraordinary what we did, but it was extraordinary what we jointly accomplished.
Integrity, good roll
prepared to go out of radio communication. We're still to feel love from Earth. From the cabin of integrity here as we surpass the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth.
At what point did you realize what a phenomenon this mission had been? Because something special happened during those days. It went from, in my experience, people not really understanding the mission. Oh, they're not landing on the moon. What's Artemis II? To people who are just glued to what was going on. When could you first tell that something special was going on?
Yeah, that is a really great question. I haven't reflected on that. You know, we did try to explain to people this was sort of akin to Apollo 8 and what they would be doing. And I know that the crew, and in our conversations with crew families, the hope was that this would be a unifying force and that this would be a collaborative experience and that people would have an experience and see themselves in accomplishing big things. But never, ever in a million years did I imagine that objective would be met so fulsomely. When we realized as crew families that it seemed like the whole world was watching them, it started to feel like the realization of that bigger dream of this being a positive, unifying force for the world. That seems crazy to imagine, but that's what it started to feel like.
When did you become aware of that?
Little insights from Catherine and the kids when I talked to them. The kids started to tell like stories of some of the reels they were watching, and I was like, oh wow, that's really interesting. And then really when we got back, just what people were saying to us, like everybody we saw on the ship and then everybody we saw in San Diego, and as we got on the plane to fly here, it started to sink in for us a little bit that this is bigger than we realized, and it's still sinking in.
So given everything you've gone through, all the immense challenges, do you feel now like you can't wait to go back into space, or you're content to be on Earth?
A bit of both. I'm definitely content to be on Earth and happy to be here. I had the time of my life up there, and I'd love to go back at some point. I have no expectation that I will, but you never know what happens. And I'm excited about the future. Maybe more and more people will be going, and I would love to share what I've learned with others. I'd love to see more people experience this. I think it would be good for humanity. So I don't know what the future brings in, but that was a pretty extraordinary 10 days in space, and I will definitely miss them.
Jeremy and the other Artemis astronauts are busy back at work in Houston. I asked him when he's coming back to Canada. He's not sure, but he hinted, had no sort of confirmation of this, but hinted that all four of them may be making a visit to Canada. A skydiving mishap leaves a football game hanging in the balance.
You know, everyone was on pins and needles, praying for the guy, hoping that he wouldn't fall.
The tense rescue next in our moment. Okay, this is a skydiver hanging by a parachute after crashing into the scoreboard at a football game at Virginia Tech. Strong winds led to the entanglement and emergency responders rushed in. Tonight, the crash and the rescue makes our moment.
We were watching the pregame before the team came out. We see one parachuter come in, makes a pretty rough landing, but made it onto the fields. The second parachuter went over the left side of the scoreboard from my vantage point, and then the third came in and hit the top of the scoreboard. It took, 20 minutes for them to get rescued. Everyone was on pins and needles, praying for the guy, hoping that he wouldn't fall. And then Blacksburg Fire Department came in and hoisted the ladder. We were just there to watch the game and have fun, and yeah, it turned into a lot of suspense. If I were him, it'd be a story to tell. Near-death experience. I won't be jumping out of any planes.
So that's the thing. You go from, you're getting pumped up about a football game. You see the skydivers come in, and then that would have 20 minutes waiting to see if the rescue would work. We're only doing this moment. I mean, it's obviously was interesting, exciting, but because that parachutist, the one that got stuck, hung up on the scoreboard, wasn't hospitalized, didn't even need any medical attention after that. So everything turned out perfectly. From all of us here at The National, thanks for being with us. I'm Ian Hannamansing in Vancouver. You can also join me on CBC News Network weeknights at 7 Eastern. See you then.